What's up YouTube, Sodor Railway Studios here, bringing you another episode of my Sonic voice actor series. And today we'll be looking at the sexy jewel thief herself, Rouge the Bat. Funnily enough, Rouge never used to be one of my favourite characters, but ever since Sonic Prime came out, I've grown to appreciate her a lot more. And I'm now gonna have to spend this whole video pretending that I don't have a slight crush on her. I mean, look at her. God, what am I doing with my life? She's a bat, for goodness sake. But even so, I still thought I should take a look at her voices. But before we start, please remember that this is all my opinion. So if you disagree with any of my thoughts, then that's fine, but remember to be civil about it, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Lonnie Mannella, who voiced Rouge from Sonic Adventure 2 up to Sonic Heroes.
My name is Rouge the Bat, better known as the treasure hunter Rouge. I just love jewels and cannot seem to get enough of them. I found this very valuable Master Emerald, but this annoying echidna has been following me. He's so persistent.
Honestly, I quite like Lonnie Mannella's take on Rouge. It's not my favourite, but she's at least trying. Not to mention, I love her chemistry with Scott Dreyer when Rouge interacts with Knuckles during Sonic Adventure 2, as well as her chemistry with David Humphrey as Shadow. I may never have played either of the games that Lonnie voiced Rouge in, but from what I've heard, she does a pretty good job. She may not be my favourite voice for the character, but she's still good enough to get a 7 out of 10. Now let's move on to Kathleen Delaney. And I'm sorry to say, but I'm not a fan of this voice.
Have you heard a couple of more friends from back home dropped in? Seems every day is like a regular reunion around here. Of course, if too many of us start showing up, the humans aren't gonna be too happy. They'll probably decide we're dangerous and round us all up. Imagine us together.
Like, I get why people love this voice so much, but for me, Kathleen just sounds way too old. Don't get me wrong, she does sound genuinely flirty, which is the main aspect of Rouge's personality. But why would you get someone who sounds like they're in their 40s to voice an 18-year-old bat? I don't know about you, but that makes no sense to me. Now, I'm not saying that Kathleen is a bad voice actress, nor am I saying she's a bad person. But she's overall my least favourite voice for Rouge. If you consider her to be the best, then that's perfectly fine, but she's really not for me. Overall, Kathleen gets a 4 out of 10. Now as for Karen Strassman...
Thanks, Big Blue. That's the first time I've ever been stolen. Thanks, buddy. The thing that snatched me was like nothing I've ever seen before. Watch out. Come to think of it, you are nothing like the Sonic I've seen before.
This voice is perfect. I know that some people think Karen sounds a bit too flirty, but for me, her voice is the perfect pitch for a character like Rouge. She has great line deliveries, great chemistry with the other actors, everything. I could go on all day about how much I love Karen's voice for Rouge. She may not get to voice her very often, since from what I recall, the only time she voiced her were in Sonic Free Riders, Sonic Generations, Sonic Forces, and Team Sonic Racing. But whenever she does, she absolutely nails it. I couldn't ask for a better voice for our favourite feisty bat. Overall, Karen Strassman is more than deserving of a 10 out of 10. Finally, we have Kazumi Evans, the voice of Rouge in Sonic Prime.
He played you for a fool, Blue. Well, I have a hunch. You see, I've been searching for years for a super rare and shiny gem called the Paradox Prism. Legend speaks of untold power, and it's buried deep within the Green Hill bedrock. My guess is that he used your power against you to try to find it. You left the door open. Gather your crew and meet me at the top of the loop-de-loop. Let's find out what Eggman is up to.
For a while, Kazumi Evans was actually my favourite voice for Rouge, since this was around the time I was truly beginning to accept Rouge as part of the Sonic universe. While nowadays I do prefer Karen Strassman, Kazumi still does a great job. One thing I like about her is that she's not too old, but not too young either. A perfect combination if you ask me. Kazumi may spend more time voicing Rouge's alternate counterparts, those being Rebel, Prim and Baton respectively, but I still think she does an excellent job as the flirty Bat. She gets a 9 out of 10. And now comes the time where I try to find a potential voice actor for Rouge in the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. And my choice would have to be Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, that's kind of an obvious choice, isn't it? I was actually quite close to choosing Angelina Jolie, but then I decided she might end up being too similar to Kathleen Delaney, so I now think Scarlett Johansson would be the perfect movie voice for Rouge, since she has a history of playing somewhat feisty and flirty characters, like Ash from Sing for example. But what do you guys think? And that's about it for this video. As usual, I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to let me know in the comments which voice for Rouge is your favourite. Also, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and keep the notification bell on so you never miss a video. The next episode will focus on the big green detective himself, Vector the Crocodile, so stay tuned for that when it comes out. Until then, I've been Sodor Railway Studios, you've been simply the best, and have a great day. Bye!